Hi everyone, this is my first YouTube video and I just felt called to make this because I've been thinking a lot recently about my experience with trichotillomania. Mostly because in November, that will be my 8th year anniversary of being trichotillomania free. Um, If you want to hear more about my trichotillomania story and what my experience was and how I healed myself, feel free to um, ask about that in the comments. I'm thinking about making a video about that, but if you really want to hear my story, I would be happy to share that with you. But today, I felt that I wanted to share um, kind of maybe a video of something that not a lot of trichotillomania um, patients talk about. I know it's not something that I thought about sharing ever, really, because it was kind of something that was really hard for me to talk about, and that was how to talk about it with my parents. I had kind of a interesting childhood, and if you want to hear about that also let me know. But I could never talk about trichotillomania with my parents, and so that left me feeling very alone at times. And now that I'm older and now that I no longer have trichotillomania, I'm able to kind of revisit my experience and kind of think of, what I might have needed back then, what might have been good for me in terms of my parents' support, or what things they might have been able to do that could have eased what I was going through, so to speak. So what I actually did is I took a moment to kind of meditate on that, and I was able to put myself back in the body of that little girl. I developed trichotillomania when I was about 6 years old. So that's when it started. But anyway, I was able to put myself back in her shoes and kind of bring myself along this whole process that I went through, and the things that I experienced and the things that I was going through at the time. And I wanted to write a letter to my parents from who I was back then, from that little girl who was 6 years old, to that girl who was going through puberty and experiencing middle school and having to deal with some judgmental kids, and then all the way through high school, when high school brings on its own issues and that sort of thing. But so what I wanted to do with you today is to just read the letter that I wrote to my parents from my former self, um, and maybe it can help maybe some of you going through trichotillomania, just knowing that you're not alone in how you're feeling, or even to some parents watching, or if you want to share this with your parents as a way to kind of maybe let them know how you're feeling, or to even give you this idea if you wanted to revisit your journey thus far and write your own letter to your parents and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to read straight from the letter, so we'll see how this goes. All right, so I also want to share with you some pictures of the girl who is writing this letter. So I'll see if I can find some pictures. I don't have a lot of pictures with me now, just because I moved to another country. I'm American, so I'm from America, but right now I live in France. So a lot of my pictures and things like that are still back in America with my parents. But I'll try to see if I can find some. So I'll probably find one from when this first started, from when I was about 6 years old. And then I'll try to find one from either later on in elementary school or middle school. And then I'll find one towards the end of my journey with trichotillomania, probably in high school or something like that. So here is the letter. So just try and think of this coming from someone who has experienced a lot of pain and confusion, and maybe you're experiencing or have experienced some of these things as well. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm confused, probably just as confused as you are. All I want to do is make you happy, make you smile, make you proud. At first, you looked scared, so I wondered, what's wrong? And now you look angry. Am I what's wrong? I don't like disobeying you. When you tell me to stop pulling my eyelashes, I hear you. I listen, but my hands don't listen to me. When you cover my hands with gloves or put band-aids on my fingertips, it makes me feel like I've really messed up, like I'm really doing something I'm not supposed to. I wake up to find that all of my eyelashes are gone, and I see that you are frustrated, unhappy, disappointed. I feel so guilty and ashamed. Why can't I be in control of my own body? I try harder to stop, but it just makes me angrier at myself. No matter what you try to do to help me, nothing works, and soon I find that you have given up on me. We don't talk about it anymore, because when you bring it up, I get defensive. I feel like you think it's my fault that I don't have eyelashes anymore. I want to tell you that I can't control it. My hands have a will of their own. But at the same time, I start to believe that it's my fault too. I blame myself, because who could pull my eyelashes out but me? I feel hurt when you say things like, "It's too bad you don't have eyelashes. You'd be so gorgeous if you did." I want to tell you that we want the same thing, but instead, I clam up. My face turns red with embarrassment and shame. My expression is angry and annoyed. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to react. I'm trying to protect myself. My life is lonely. I feel like no one quite understands me. I'm shy and reserved because I want to blend in. I don't want to be different. If I stand out, I'm afraid someone will notice how I'm different than everyone else. I would rather stay shut in my bedroom with my books and my toys where I'm safe. But despite my best efforts, some kids at school notice. They say hurtful things at recess. They ask if I have cancer. They say I'm ugly. I don't know how to defend myself because secretly I agree with them. So I stand there and take it. When I come home from school, you ask me about my day, and I expose very little or nothing at all. What I really want is a hug or someone to tell me the opposite of what I think of myself. But I'm afraid that if I share my pain in exchange for comfort, I will be met with coldness. I will be told that it's my own fault that people are hurtful because of what I do to myself. So I continue to suffer in solitude. Many nights I cry myself to sleep, wishing I could stop, wishing I could be beautiful, wondering, why me? Why do I do this to myself? Every year on my birthday, when I blow out the candles, I wish for a beautiful set of eyelashes. It's a little easier though, being in high school. The kids don't seem to notice or care as much. I mask my eyelids in eyeshadow and eyeliner though, so maybe that's why. Still, my self-confidence is nearly non-existent. I'm still afraid of people noticing and asking the dreaded questions, still not knowing how to respond, feeling defenseless. I still try to blend in. I finally have collected a solid group of friends that seem to be in for the long haul. They appreciate me. They think I'm funny. I never thought I was funny before. I'm discovering things about myself that I never knew existed, and I'm starting to appreciate myself more too. My friends don't ask about it if they notice, or they pretend not to. I don't know, but I'm grateful for that. And I don't bring it up either. I'm just finally happy that I can find myself and be a normal kid. So that is the letter. Sorry if my voice was breaking a little bit. It still makes me feel emotional to read that because it was so real at one point, even though it's been 8 years. And at the time that I stopped, I was an adult, and I was actually in a pretty good place at the time, which I think is a lot of the reason why I was able to stop and to cure myself naturally. So as you can see there at the end, I started noticing some good qualities about myself, and I started making friends who appreciated me more for the person that I was and not for the way that I looked and that sort of thing. So anyway, I encourage you to try out this exercise. Maybe take a moment or several moments or 20 minutes to just reflect on your journey and really think about how you wish other people could see you, or how you wish other people could feel what you're feeling, or to at least just understand what it is that you're going through. And maybe you could try and share that with them some way, because I think that's one of the first things that you can do for yourself that's really going to help, is to try and put this out into the open, trying to talk about it with people as much as possible. I honestly never talked about it with anybody. I didn't even mention it to anybody until late high school, I think, when I finally found out the name of trichotillomania. I had no idea what it even was for my whole life, basically. So, yeah, I just encourage you to try and talk about it. I know it's hard, but you can do it, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna try and post some more videos like this coming up. I just think that I have a lot that I could share with you about trichotillomania, or different ways that might help you on your journey to recovery. So if you have any other questions for me, or if you want to share your story, feel free to do that in the comments. But look out for some more videos, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.